Good day, OA. My name is Lionel Garcia. I'm your VP of Sales and Agent Development, and it is Monday, and I love this session that we get to do together. It is Motivation Monday time, and I'm excited this week. I'm back from a lot of traveling. I'm excited to be back in Jacksonville. I'm excited to be back in my office, and believe it or not, next week we have a new group of travel advisors coming in for Kickstart training. And so I'm prepping and gearing up for that. So let's get started with our wins of the week. These W's could be personal, they can be professional. I love kicking off our Motivation Mondays with sharing any of those wins, any of those successes that you may have had over the last 7 days. So let's think about it. What are you most proud of? What are you excited when you think back? You're like, man, that was great. Well, I'll share with you my personal win. It was the fact that I got to spend some time with family. We drove down to South Florida. I got to see my mom. I got to see my grandparents, my grandma on my mom's side, my grandma on my dad's side. That left my kids getting a chance to see their great grandparents, which doesn't happen very often. I got to see my cousin. I haven't seen him forever. And that was really nice. And then to reconnect with some of our friends and old neighbors that we left back in June when we moved and got to see them. So that's my personal win for the week. My professional win was that I got to spend some really great quality time with a fantastic bunch of advisors on our advanced groups training on board the Caribbean Princess, where we sailed down from Vancouver to LA. And that just happened last week too. So all kinds of incredible things that went on. So what are your wins? I know we have a few of you watching right now, so love to hear, what is your win of the week? What are you most proud of? What, when you look back and you're like, man, that was awesome. Love to see what that is. All right, here we go. We got some people commenting. I like this. Tim, your win of the week was that you charged your first fee. I like that. So you charged your first fee via the OA PayPal account for an airfare only booking. So congratulations, Tim. That's awesome. I'm excited. I also know that, Tim, you also got approved to go on a trip with HX, and I know that that's exciting you as well. So kudos to you. I love that. Well, this week, we're going to talk about a really important topic, one that I think can really help everyone, not just people in this industry, but people outside of this industry, because truly success, especially maybe success in travel and in life, isn't something that happens with talent. It actually takes a lot of work. And so today I want to talk about a growth mindset, right? And you probably heard the term. Obviously, I'm going to just scratch the surface on what it takes to have a growth mindset. But a growth mindset is a belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. So obviously a growth mindset is the complete opposite of a fixed mindset. And I'm sure you've heard the term, you can't teach this old dog new tricks. Well, thinking like that is a fixed mindset. Thinking that, yes, an old dog can learn new tricks, that is a growth mindset. So I really want to talk about what are those benefits to adopting a growth mindset in or as a travel professional. And the first one is it builds resilience in this very changing industry, right? Because honestly, setbacks are going to happen. Market shifts are changing. Client needs change. Technologies are evolving. So if you don't stay with that growth mindset of changing the way you do things and adapting to new ways of thinking, you're going to get left behind. And I'll never forget back when I was a supplier with Royal Caribbean, once they stopped sending out documents. Oh my goodness. If you were in the industry, when the cruise lines stopped sending out documents, that was like the end of the world. You would not imagine how many travel professionals thought that their business was going to shut down because they no longer could send out documents to their clients. And sure enough, that came and went, and it was just another speed bump on the journey of their businesses. Here we have a few comments, so I kind of want to check in and see what those comments look like. Let's see here. Luann, Professional win, the OA conference personal win, able to connect with several family members around the US. I love that. That's great. And then Tim, it was good to be. Oh, I love this. They're chatting back and forth. I love that. All right. So let's jump right into also. I mean, hold on. I got to get rid of this comment here. All right. What other things, in addition to the resilience in a changing industry, is continuous improvement? A growth mindset is going to encourage for ongoing learning. New suppliers are coming into the industry. New ways of travel are coming into the industry. I just got an email from Marriott that they're now selling outdoor travel. There's new yacht companies coming on board, new DMCs that are joining the industry that are vying for your attention. So continuous improvement is important to 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 elevate your business and to continue to grow. Another thing to keep in mind is yes, booking tools are changing, and even your sales pitch might need to change because today you might be communicating to a customer a certain way, but tomorrow that customer might want to be communicated a different way. For example, I try to communicate with a lot of you via Facebook, but not not all of you communicate with me via email. Some of you rather communicate with Facebook Messenger. Some of you even reach out to me via text. So it's so important to stay in continuing to learn and improve yourself. Another thing about having that growth mindset is to build stronger relationships. Why? Because you're going to get feedback, and that feedback is going to give you that opportunity to grow and build trust with your clients. And I think that's so important. So be open to that growth mindset. Be open to understanding that what you do today and how you communicate to a client today or how you address a client today may not be how you do it tomorrow. And feel free to be open to that feedback and that communication, the constructive feedback so that you can improve and get rid of thinking of this old dog can't learn new tricks because you're learning new tricks every day. So really believe and adopt that growth mindset. And then one of the last things I want to share with you when it comes to this growth mindset is it will increase your confidence because when you believe you can improve, when you stop thinking about that old dog can't learn new tricks, but that this dog can most definitely learn new tricks, you are more likely then to take risks and try new things and give it a go. Try something new. And in most cases, when you do step out of that box, you end up with a success recipe. All right, we had a few more comments come in, so I want to jump in there and check them out. So Tim and Luann are going back and forth. I love this. They were happy to see each other face to face. Julie, happy Monday. It's okay that you're late. You get to watch the replay if you want to, but thanks for joining. And so, yes, what other things? I have to get rid of this comment. What other things? Let's talk about our motivation moment. And this is something that I like to kind of, I saw this quote come across and I thought it was interesting that great work is performed not by strength, but by perseverance. So you have to keep trying. I know that I think it's, I've heard Wayne Gretzky, for example, say that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. I've heard Michael Jordan comment on, and I love sports, which is probably why I'm making some sports references, but that the most important skill was failing. Every time you fail, it's not about the failure, but it's how you get up and how you rise and how you improve. So that's that continuous improvement. That's that growth mindset. So I wanted to leave you with some of that motivation moment, but then I also want to give you a call to action. And let's talk about this growth mindset challenge. So here's the challenge. Ready? I want you to think of one area that you've been avoiding, something that you're afraid of, that when you see it, you're like, I can't do it. Maybe it's public speaking. Maybe it's social media marketing. Maybe it's setting up a travel night. Oh my goodness. Maybe it's reaching out to a BDM for the first time for some strategy session on how to market their product. I don't know what your scary monster is, but I'm going to challenge you with a growth mindset challenge. And I want you to pick one thing that you've been avoiding and set a small goal. Set a small goal. What is that goal? Next thing I want you to do is real simple. And this is kind of like right foot, left foot. The next thing I want you to do is take one action step. Just one. And then lastly, reflect on what you've learned. And then if you do this right, in my opinion, you start right back at the top again. Make a new one goal, take another next step. Hopefully, it's the next right step. And then follow it up with reflecting on what you've learned, make your improvements, and start back at the top and work your way down. So, based on that, what is one thing that you will be working on this week to grow? Is it to make a social media post? Is it to do a marketing? Maybe it's to try AI for the first time, use AI for the first time. Maybe it's recording yourself. A lot of people are afraid of speaking to a camera. Maybe it's recording yourself. What are you trying to do? I can't wait to hear what you're going to do. Put it in the comments, share it with all of us. I want to know. It's going to be great. So here's Tim. Tim saying his growth mindset expansion is happening by being at the Opulent City event today and tomorrow and growing into the luxury travel style. I love that. And here we go. Michael, he's looking to get out of the fear to make cold calls. Michael, that is awesome. I love that. Here's what my suggestion is. Build your list. Build your list of people you want to call. Have a mental cue or write down what it is you want to talk to them about, what it is you want to do, and go out after them and call them. And give yourself that task of how many of those cold calls you're going to make. Maybe you just want to start with one. That's fine. Start with one. And then maybe the next day you could tackle two and go ahead and build on that. So great. Thanks for sharing that. And Scott, I'm glad I'm preaching here to you, but you're saying truth. I love that. So thank you very much. So what is that one thing that you're going to work on this week for growth? I can't wait to see what it is that you're going to share. And as I do every Motivation Monday, we end with a quote. And the quote of this week is going to be: a growth mindset isn't about being perfect. It's all about being better than you were yesterday. It's pretty simple. So look at where you are today and think about where you were yesterday. And are you making small progress to improve on the person or activities that you took and did the day before? Are you being, you've probably heard the concept 1% better. Are you working on being just 1% better than you were yesterday? If so, then you're working on adapting that growth mindset. And so kudos to you for doing that. Kudos to all of you who are watching. Thank you. I really appreciate it. This week's Motivation Monday was on growth mindset. I was excited to share it with you. I think it's awesome that we get to spend this time together. Look forward to connecting with you this week and following along the chat dialogue and what's happening there, and wish you the best. And until next week, we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.